Welcome back to the Nancy Levin Show. Very happy you're here. I'm often asked about my morning routine, and I'll share that my morning routine begins with my evening routine, which is putting my phone into airplane mode, sleep mode, with no Wi-Fi, so that when I wake up in the morning, there are no messages waiting for me, no notifications to distract me, and I immediately go to meditate and to journal. It was not always this way. Everything changed when I went to Thailand 9 years ago. In November of 2015, I spent 10 days at a silent meditation retreat at a monastery. It was one of those moments in time that was a complete game changer and life changer. And there is a delineation of before and after. I wrote 2 articles about my experience for Best Self magazine. And I'm going to share the first one today with you here, and then I'll share the second part in a couple of weeks. So remember that this was 2015 me. This was 9 years ago. And I guess I had just turned 50 and I had a lot to say. I had a lot to share. So here goes. Meditation Retreat, Transformation in Thailand, Part 1. An adventure of meditation, solitude, and consciousness. I'm 10 days into being home alone. I've been damn near hermetic, actually, going out only for hikes and groceries, engaging with clients, friends, and family over the phone, and seeing no one. My definition of heaven. I've relished having every moment to myself to spend working, writing, binge watching, and even cooking. Only 4 more days left until I go hit the road for a few days with my family to New York City, where I also have a few gigs, including my longest keynote speech ever at Hay House's I Can Do It conference, and then a long-ass overseas flight to meet up with my man in Chiang Mai, Thailand. That last part about Thailand is something I never expected to come out of my mouth. But wait, there's more. Not only will I be there for 3 weeks, but just 3 days after I arrive, we are off to Wat Rampong, to the Northern Insight Meditation Center for a 10-day silent Vipassana meditation retreat. Oh yes, you heard that right. I'm going to spend 10 days in a monastery, sleeping in a room of my own, waking before 4 a.m. to practice sitting and walking meditation until retiring at 10 p.m. If I squint my eyes and strain my ears, it looks and sounds a lot like my current home alone time, minus the binge watching, of course, and the talking. And someone will be cooking for me, although there are only 2 meals offered each day, the first at 6 a.m. and the next at 10:30 a.m. I honestly don't even know what to think about that. A few weeks ago, I noticed that if I started to allow myself to fully grasp the details of this adventure, I found myself in deep resistance and fear. Do I even need to tell you how far out of my comfort zone I am going? For my honey, it's no big deal. He's been living in Aspen for 20 plus years and is the culture in resort towns. He works seasonally. So he hits it hard there in the winter and summer, and then he gets out into the world for a couple of months at a time in the spring and fall. Over the years, he's traveled extensively in India, Nepal, Indonesia, and has done several 10-day silent Vipassana meditation retreats, plus even a 35-day retreat at the very monastery we're going to in Chiang Mai. But this past spring, we did spend 6 weeks living in Moab, Utah, which was a start. Thankfully, my work is mobile, which makes it possible for me to be anywhere, even Thailand. But not since I was 25, and that was 25 years ago, have I traveled for any length of time without it being for work. And the voice that still arises, even after all the acknowledgement and integration of it, is thankfully quite faint now, but I can still hear it say, "Who are you to take 3 weeks away? What will your clients think? You're committing career suicide." And I reply, "I'm not abandoning anyone, especially not myself. I'm adding to my own experience and nurturing my relationship, which can only enhance my life, love, and work." And of course, I've calculated how to still do my radio show and coaching group calls while I'm away. To tell you the truth, I've been doing deep work around this with my coach and my therapist. And I know that the more I continue to immerse myself in fully experiencing and inhabiting my own life, the better service I will be to others who are overcoming overachieving, perfectionism, fear of leisure, workaholism, and the need to fill every moment to avoid feeling or dealing with what's really happening. I've been there. Trust me. That kind of compartmentalization and the glorification of staying busy are a few of the elements that allowed me to stay in my past marriage for far too long. And now the gift here for me is that the part of me who just wants it to be all over so I can be back home with my creature comforts is receiving permission and being reminded daily and lovingly by the other parts of me who long to evolve and stay present with what is, to drink it all in and not miss a moment. And I am able to acknowledge myself for everything I've done, for this life I've created, which makes a trip like this possible. As I fly, I embrace this unrecognizable self I've become, someone who can do this, while willing to dive into the unknown, trusting that no matter how I emerge, this experience can only be a game changer, pointing me toward positivity, empowerment, embodiment, expansion, and toward being a beacon for others. I promise to let you know how it all goes. Look for me on the other side with part 2 in a couple of weeks. As I read this, I have such compassion for that version of myself, so afraid to leave the known for the unknown, so afraid to really step into irresponsibility, so afraid that if she wasn't completely available to everyone else all the time, she wouldn't know who she was. Thinking back and looking back on that time, I can picture myself clearly. Not only was I afraid to take 3 weeks away, I was also afraid to do it without making arrangements to do the things that I needed to do. And I say that from the perspective of, did I really need to do them? Like I mentioned in the article, did I really need to do my radio show? Did I really need to even do the group coaching sessions? Now I know I can give myself a break. I can get someone to sub for me. I can create space between episodes, or I can have a rerun if I needed to, or I can record more ahead of time in order to give myself the full experience of space in whatever it is I'm doing. There's a part of this article that I'm thinking about right now when I said, the gift here for me is that the part of me who just wants it to be all over so I can be back home with my creature comforts is receiving permission and being reminded to not miss a moment. I know for me, I have rushed my way through experiences over time, whether they be experiences of fun and play and pleasure or experiences of evolution and growth. I've rushed my way through the experience to just be on the other side of the experience, to have had the experience. And what happens is then I miss the moment. I know that I've gone out, whether it be hiking or camping or mountain bike rides, and I've just wanted to get back home to my computer where I feel safe. And so I rush myself through the experience and don't let myself soak in the joy, simply wanting to get back to safety. And so I'm just sharing this today with you because I know that I'm not alone. I know that I'm not the only one who has experienced things like this. And so I thought I'd just share what this experience was like for me and a little bit of how I've changed. I hope you'll join me in 2 weeks for the conclusion. Thanks so much for being here.